Good evening, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Super Deluxe Games Cast. It's Thursday, March 7th. 2 weeks, less than 2 weeks, until we are reunited at PAX East. A reunion, you could say, given what just came out last week.
Many of us, not all of us, to be fair.
Yeah, we're going to be missing Jeff and CJ. We're going to be missing them a great deal, actually. But Jeff, I know that you'll be there.
You'll know I'll be flying in there the same time as you guys.
Yeah.
You'll be
just in a different format.
Just don't fly a Boeing, man.
Yeah,
Jeff is gonna. Please don't fly a Boeing. No, Jeff's going to be soaring those digital skies over Boston as we're drinking in Boston. But no, it's. I'm so happy that we're getting back on the PAX circuit as a group. So. Weird kind of week in video games. There's been a lot of that going around.
Yeah. Before we get started, this is literally all the time I want to devote to this. We're not talking about the Sweet Baby Inc. shit. We're not talking about Gamergate 2.0. That's not going to be a major topic of discussion. So for those who are blissfully out of the loop, there is a dumb, deep state conspiracy, bullshit,
so fucking stupid.
that a single narrative consulting firm in the gaming industry with a focus on diversity, equity, and inclusion, called Sweet Baby Inc. is somehow responsible for wokeifying and ruining all of your games.
Can you imagine one fucking firm having that kind of power?
This took only a matter of days to spin up, and yesterday and today particularly have been very, very bad in terms of online harassment. A lot of people are calling it the second coming of Gamergate, both as in they like that, as in they don't like that. It's fucking awful. The best advice I have is if you happen to be on Twitter and dealing with this, because that's where most of this is happening, right? It's not happening in people's Discords mostly. It's not happening on Blue Sky. It's happening on Twitter.
Mick with a mouth in chat. I was really hoping it was people mad about barbecue sauce.
That would be great. It would make more sense to me. But yeah, just block and move on. Obviously, we don't need to waste time explaining to you why DEI consulting is not ruining your fucking games. That's not our audience. That's fucking stupid.
I do want to say, I'll say this. I think it's really unfortunate. I mean, not just that this is happening, but that this is happening right before a major gaming convention.
Yeah, I don't think that's an accident. Go into that if I'm going to be honest with you.
Right, exactly. So what I'm saying is, look, if you're at PAX, we have literally pulled fucking security detail for people at PAX, like me in particular. So if you feel unsafe or threatened, just look for a purple face mask with a D-pad on it. We'll hang out with you until you find your group, or if you're at the Weston Bar and something feels weird and you need strength in numbers, just let one of us know. Approach one of us, please. Being mentally safe and physically safe is more important than anything else you're going to do at PAX. So, and that is literally all the fucking time I want to devote to these shitheads.
Yep, that's all I got. That aside, we have a good little crew today. We got me, we got Jeff, we got John, we got Finn. Finn, a rare appearance, at least for the first half. Brett will be here in approximately 2 more minutes, probably.
Okay,
as Brett does.
Why is Finn not on camera?
Because Finn's dying.
I'm sorry.
Will
I ever see you again?
No. Sorry.
No,
can I have your copy of Panzer Dragoon Saga on the Sega Saturn?
Oh my god.
You cannot. In fact, every game that you won, I've actually contractually put in my will that it will be destroyed in front of you.
That's fine.
Because if there's one thing I want to go out with, it's a fistload of spite. Just for the fun.
Respect it.
You'll die as you live.
Yeah.
There he is.
There I am.
My beautiful boy.
You don't look like you're dying. You sound like it though.
Yeah, it's all good.
It's okay. It's okay.
That's why I'm here for part 1.
Yeah, Finn, while you're on the spot, what have you been playing recently, bud?
What do you mean?
What you been playing?
In regards to what?
He's not a gamer.
So there's these things called video
Are you
games.
sure you're happy he's on the show?
What's a game? What I've been playing You Like a Fiddle. I don't know. Okay, so
Our boy lives.
Like and subscribe. We out here.
So I've been playing a bunch of shit since I've last been on.
Call it shit. That's not nice.
Well, we are talking Final Fantasy, aren't we?
Yes.
Yeah. Anyway,
You're playing to the wrong crowd tonight.
I know, right? It's crazy. No, so obviously Rebirth, but I'm very not. So I realized as I got to chapter 2 in Rebirth and started the open world part of it, I was like, wait, I don't think I actually ever played the Yuffie intermission DLC. And lo and behold, I had not. So I went back and I installed the original remake and I burned through that real quick. So I finished 7 remake intermission and that was dope. I really liked it. That was
really fucking good.
It made Yuffie a more enjoyable character than she's ever been.
He's also extremely fucking fun to play as.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no. Just fucking ninjutsuing them. I was
her ninjutsu. Yeah, it's cool.
I kept screaming out, "Believe it!" It was great.
I don't know what that means.
That's a reference John doesn't get, but that's okay.
Yeah.
It is an anime thing, buddy. Good call. You were halfway there. I also on my travels, picked up a couple games on my mini travel. I picked up a couple games on my Steam Deck, and I played this one game that came out in November of last year called Bzzzt, BZZZT. It's one of those
how do you pronounce that?
BZZZT. I don't know. Bzzzt, like it's a robot. It's one of those like high precision action platformers where like one hit death, but like you restart really quick. It's like very bite-sized levels. Most don't last more than 20 seconds.
Do you see like very like Super Meat Boy?
Before.
Yeah, very, very inspired by that. Very delightful. I'm like 6 levels away from the end of it. That's been a delight so far. The other big one I've been playing is a PC RPG. You know, I've just been ping-pong between all the RPGs, Like a Dragon, Infinite Wealth. So good, but it got put on pause because of Rebirth, because I'm less worried about people on the internet spoiling Infinite Wealth for me than I am about
and
Rebirth.
You have to fight to run into Yakuza or Like a Dragon spoilers.
Right? Yeah. So, but also on the PC, I've been playing this one called Thaumaturge by 11-Bit Studios as the publisher. It's one that I discovered at PAX West, and it was really, the demo just crushed it. And I've been keeping it on my radar. It got delayed a couple times, finally dropped at the beginning of this month.
Did you do an interview with them? Was that one of the ones we put up?
So that was the game you played, but it was the same studio. They were next to each other, but I did not interview the Thaumaturge people, but they were right next to the people that I did.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yes.
So, the Thaumaturge is like it's basically like, what if you take the vibes of The Witcher, because it's another like Eastern Poland studio thing.
In out.
But no. Hold on, John. This is actually more your speed. The gameplay is more in Yakuza Infinite Wealth RPG style.
As long as it's not Witcher 3 combat.
No. See, that's what I'm saying. It's takes place in a pre-World War I like alternate
Do something different.
Russia. So you're interacting with like historical figures like Rasputin and stuff, and you play as this character called the Thaumaturge. He's like kind of like a demonic Pokemon trainer, collecting these demons that represent the 7 deadly sins and stuff like that.
Oh,
and
it's
trying
World.
to no, but and then there's detective parts that give strong, between the detective parts and the dialogue parts, strong Disco Elysium vibes, but like kind of like in a well, you're just outing yourself as a terrible person with bad
actually,
taste.
yes, with that one. So
yeah, sorry, buddy.
No desire to play it either.
Well, again, good on you.
Fucking live.
Everyone that, I mean, coming strong off of Baldur's Gate, like it's kind of the isometric look gives that kind of feel to it, but it's a mishmash of all, like you get these different vibes of all these other games, and it all comes together really well. There's a lot of jank, but that's just what happens with a smaller budget game. But for what it is, it's phenomenal. Like the voice acting is strong. The quests are really enjoyable. The combat's awesome. It's all turn based, but done with like kind of like the Final Fantasy X style where you're being told, not Final Fantasy X, you're told whose order is coming up when, but every different ability that you choose has a different length, and you have to use your. That's the one I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
Yes, and you can use your abilities and your demon's abilities to interrupt and cancel enemy attacks.
Oh, dude, that's Grandia. That's
stuff together. Yeah,
Grandia.
It's fantastic. I've been really enjoying it. So yeah, it's one of those like dark horse games, and if I hadn't stumbled upon it at PAX West, coming out sandwiched between Like a Dragon and Rebirth, like, and with Persona 3 thrown in the mix, I would have never really looked at it. But because I had already had it on my radar, it has been definitely worth the time. Nice. So Thaumaturge is dope. I actually recorded a review for it last night. I'm gonna whip one up and put it up for us so we can be cool like that. Yeah, sure. Anyway, Thaumaturge is dope. Bizzt is dope. My PlayStation Portal is dope. It's been great taking it with me on trips and being able to not have to stop playing Like a Dragon in Final Fantasy.
I'm glad you fucking were able to nab one of those.
Oh my! I mean, I was never really big on it until someone finally confirmed that you don't have to be on your own personal Wi-Fi. As long as you are on a Wi-Fi.
I hate that the messaging on that was so confusing.
But it's actually as a portal. As a portal
like
owner,
my initial impression was like that it wasn't even Wi-Fi. It was like a local connection direct to the PS5, and I thought that's what made it like so fast. Yeah, I'm with you, Finn. Like I was like, oh, this is like, who's gonna buy this?
But in practice and action, it's so good.
It's more about the connection to your PS5 than it is whatever network you're on.
Yeah.
So like, for example, like I can hook my PS5 up to just plug in the Ethernet cable, and I went all the way down to Savannah, Georgia, and played my and I live in Virginia. Played my PlayStation port, my PS5 just fine, no issues.
Yeah. It's great. Like I played almost all of Prince of Persia: Lost Crown during Mardi Gras at my parents' house.
Zero latency.
It's fantastic.
And between the Portal and the Switch and the Steam Deck, we're kind of like in a new golden age of like remote handheld stuff. It's pretty cool.
I mentioned like between the Steam Deck and the Portal, when I finally went back to play the Switch, I was like, damn, this thing's fucking light. It's like it doesn't even exist.
Steam Deck OLED is actually like noticeably lighter than the original. I will say that.
I love it. I've been playing a mishmash of games, and I've been enjoying all of them. I also last thing is I've just finished a 4-player co-op run. We all had never noticed that Halo Infinite finally released its online co-op campaign.
Did it really? Holy shit.
Yeah, apparently like in late 2022.
There's a name I've not heard.
And so we finally played it together, and it was, you know what? It was fun. I'm not gonna lie. Every game is made better with a grappling hook. That's just statistical fact.
Cool.
That's at least 70% true.
Yeah, we finished a 4-player legendary co-op campaign, just like we had all the other ones. It just took us 4 years longer than we wanted to.
If it launched with it.
Sure would have.
Yeah. Jeff, what you been playing, bud?
I've actually been playing some games that aren't a flight simulator.
Nice.
So I've been.
I didn't account for this in the rundown. Oh shit.
Solid Bones. Let's hear about it, Jeff.
I won't take long. I don't have a ton of interesting things to say. I'm continue. I've talked about it before, so I won't get into it too much. I'm still I'm just finished Act 1 in Baldur's Gate, basically, with my little friend group. So unfortunately, I'm just not really enjoying the game. But it's not. I don't think it's due to the game. It's just the circumstances. I've decided I don't think I could recommend this for like a first time playthrough playing with friends, because it's chaotic and fun at times, but I was pretty like excited to get the story, and like
I don't want to play this shit with anyone. I want to play by myself.
I think they didn't tell you. I found out after 20 hours there's this menu setting you can toggle so that when your friends talk to a character, it automatically plays the cutscene for you. But prior to that, everyone was just talking to people, and unless you see they have a little ear icon over their character portrait and you click that to listen into their conversation, you won't get the conversation. So I missed like basically all the conversations related to all the quests. And then because there's 4 of us, you can't have any of the main like you can't have any of the characters in your party, right? So like I've heard you guys talk about Karlach and stuff, but like you don't really get much interaction, at least so far, with any of the characters, and I could tell I'm missing a big piece there. But like the gameplay is good, the gameplay is fun. I really enjoy the combat encounters. It's pretty crazy. After 30 hours, I finally kind of understand how turns and actions work. I still feel like it could have done a bit better onboarding, but like to be clear, I really appreciate the design of the game. I think it's fantastic. I'm kind of bummed I didn't have a better experience with it, but I'm probably going to get back to it in a few years. I'll give it another run and like play it by myself and take my time and really get to like soak in the world and stuff like that. And I think I'll have a very different opinion on it.
I remember when you started playing and you were talking about it, you're like, I don't like it. And I was like, you need a solo experience. I was like, your experience should have been solo.
It is what it is. I didn't know how the structure of it worked.
It's been so interesting hearing people like the ways people gravitate towards like the styles of play in that game based on like kind of how they're approaching it and what they're valuing most. Could talk about that game for ages.
Yeah. It got better once I gave up trying to follow the story and just embrace the chaos. And it's like, I could tell my one friend who's beaten it twice is like trying to get us to do the perfect playthrough. And he's like, maybe we should try to talk this out. And we're like, fuck it, kill everyone. So,
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, I think we've just left a bloody massacre everywhere we go in that game. So
that's the Dungeons and Dragons way, buddy.
And then, basically with the same group, I played a little bit of Helldivers actually, which like, again, normally isn't my cup of tea. I'm not really into shooters anymore, but I couldn't resist.
Jeff, service means citizenship, all right?
Yeah, democracy. The opening scene.
Why did democracy fail us?
We've talked about it before. Games don't do humor very well. It's too often cringy and very try-hard and just doesn't pull it off. The opening cutscene to Helldivers 2 is one of the funniest fucking things I've seen since like a Telltale game. It works so well. It just sets the tone for the game. But yeah, I don't have like a lot of deep thoughts on it other than it's just a fucking blast.
I gotta tell you though, Jeff,
isn't that all that matters though?
It is, yeah.
That is what matters.
You're just shooting monsters, shooting bugs, and the
only good
loadout
bug is
or
a dead bug.
the stratagems that you call down are just it's like that's like half the game is just managing those button combos. And I don't know, I can't explain it. There's something so satisfying about watching your like Helldiver dude go up to a screen and just fucking mash all the little directional buttons on it.
Can we talk about how much this game is fucking taken off? Like,
yeah,
there's only been a 4% drop in players since launch, which is fucking insane.
Well, and I think our friend Matt Piscatella pointed out.
I love
like,
that he put. Yeah,
the sales curve is actually increasing. Like the normal game launch is like launch weekend like this, and this one is like it's selling more this week than it was last week.
According to him, it's had 3 weeks of an inverse sales curve, which he's said is practically unheard of, which I think is just fun.
Oh, dude,
and they did all that with like weeks of server issues and stuff. It would have been very unfortunate if everyone had just kind of moved on and gave up because they couldn't get into the game. But I think it speaks to the buzz and like how good the game is that people were willing to wait, or I should say stay logged in for 7 days straight so that they didn't get booted.
So I want to address something somebody said in chat, Jeff. Like, I'm absolutely down for Michael Ironside DLC.
Yeah,
absolutely
let's
down.
Do it.
Michael Ironside and Casper Van Dien. Let's Rico's Raiders. Let's fucking go.
Yeah. I would. Yeah, they've got to be working on a Starship Troopers collaboration or something like that.
They'd be right. Like they'd be fucking stupid not to.
And then last one, which I know Derek and I talked a little bit about the other week. I'm still playing Persona 3. Again, still a very good game. One thing that really I have to mention, I mentioned in the Discord, and it just maybe I'm out of the loop. Maybe I don't. Maybe this is a big deal. Like there's there's always maybe quit the game. There's a costume in the game that I got, and it basically makes one of the 16-year-old girls naked.
I'm sorry,
it's not naked, but it's a very skimpy bikini. It's
what's very close. Persona 3 Reload.
I know which one you talk about. Okay.
Yeah, I understand. Yeah. Like, I don't want to call out a genre in particular.
Will, dude. Persona in particular can be.
No. I mean, I understand like the sexualization of women in games. I guess I was not expecting it for children, and I'm also shocked that like this game got really good reviews. And maybe I'm just a loop. I'm shocked there's not articles all over the place because like not that I'm like whatabouting, but like we had so much talk about like Kojima and like Quiet and like that whole thing. And like that was fucking weird and gross, but like also she was at least an adult.
Yeah.
Like the fact that like I presume adult male video game developers took time to like create this skin and put it in that, like it just, I can't wrap my mind around it, and it's just fucking weird. And it's I'm thankful I was able to get over it. Like at least it's like optional, right? It's very easy to ignore. And we've talked about before, like I've played Persona 4. There's, I'm not a stranger to the series issues. But thankfully so far the game has been mostly free of those, aside from like, that's just why it was such a bummer. I was like, well, why? Especially because it's a remake. So even if this was in the original game, like they had to make some effort to re-include this in 2024.
Yeah.
So I don't want to harp on it too much. It's just like, it sucks when you're really, really enjoying a game and you have something that's kind of, you were so close. But the game's good. The game's really fun. I'm in September now. I'm really enjoying kind of doing things at my own pace. I find I have to fight my urge to like max out all the social links, and it can get a little bit stressful, like trying to decide how to manage your time because you don't want to miss a certain event. But it's when I just kind of decide, hey, I'm just going to do what I want to do on any given day and hang out who I want to hang out with, and do, go see a movie or whatever. It's chill. But yeah, the dungeons are like better than I thought. I think I'm enjoying them more than Persona 4 Tartarus, and I'm surprised. Like, there's lots of nice
there's
little
a little
quirks.
more variety and little mechanics and stuff.
Yeah, like they kind of like they kind of drip feed it to you as you go along. Like the monad doors are like a nice little extra challenge. And oh my god, I have to fucking call this out because I hate this in games. And I love Final Fantasy to death. You guys know that, but like especially the PS1 games, which I've played a lot, like Final Fantasy VII. There's always the point in the story where like certain characters get removed from your party for a period of time, and then either they fall behind or you get stuck with the characters you haven't used in 10 hours, and they're all super low level. And I could see that happening in Persona, where like I picked my party of 4, and everyone is like 15 levels below. There's a mechanic you run into every once in a while. It's like, hey, pick 2 characters, and we'll just catch them right up, and you don't even really have to do anything. That's awesome. More RPGs.
Jeff, I will maintain forever that Persona 4 has better characters, but Persona 3 is just a better game.
I would maybe agree with that. Yeah, which is hard because like I'm really into these games for the links and the characters. So I think like I can appreciate they're different games, that I think 4 does some things better and 3 does, but I could tell 3 is like really going places. I'm getting a little bit further in the story, so I don't want to spend too much more time talking. But yeah, that's what I've been playing. Those are all video games, and they're all really good.
Video games exist and they're good. Britt, what you been playing?
I've been playing a lot of card games.
Yeah, you have.
So we got code for Balatro, and I took that, and then it took me once I started playing.
That stream was so fun.
It was such a
DM. Britt sent me a text on her way when she was on her way to my place with Zach, and she was just like, it was just a picture of her playing Balatro on the plane.
Yeah. It's a great game. It's fun. Like, there's literally nothing to it. Like, I can't describe the game. It's just a rogue like poker hand. You just playing poker, and then you have little abilities and multipliers and things like that. You get 5 of them. You can also increase that. You can decrease that. You can buff up certain hands. Like, I always go with flush. Flushes are my bread and butter when I play through it. There's different decks that you can get, and it's just really fun to see how far you can get with different hands and stuff like that. And yeah, that's really, I super recommend it. It's just such a fun, chill game.
That one really also seems to be blowing up like a little bit. I hadn't heard of it before.
It is.
Ben mentioned it, and then I saw
500,000 sales.
Yeah, because I saw Brit stream it, and then like I've got a couple friends who don't even really play many video games, and I saw one of them playing Balatro the other day, and I was like, oh shit, like they've got some legs.
It's really addicting. Simply for the fact that it's so fun, and it's like just different every time you play it based on what kind of like bonuses and jokers that you're getting. So Balatro is on Switch and Steam. I believe
Isn't it
those
on
are
like
the only two.
everything? I thought it was.
Is it
also
on
like,
everything?
PlayStation and Xbox as
I
well.
think it is. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well,
Let me
then
double
it's,
check
it's
because I could be
it's-
talking up my ass.
We've killed the joke to death, but that is a perfect game for Switch. Like,
Oh, it is. It
I
100.
guess-
That's like
yeah.
that's why I
Not a
bought it
joke
for
to me.
Switch. I was
Yeah.
like,
One could even say it's aces.
yes.
Shut the fuck up, Finn. That was good
It's-
though.
We'll have to
True.
record like
Finn, I'm gonna club you the next time I see you. But
good news. You're
Whatever
safe for
you
a while.
say, Jack.
Do you mean like Jeff? By that, do you mean you're going to take him to the club?
No,
yeah,
we'll have to
Um,
record a full review on this at some point because I definitely want to hear more in depth about stuff I didn't get to catch like in the stream.
Oh, yeah,
I'll
we-
be
Yeah.
very
we
excited
do
to
too.
talk to you about that.
It's so
Right, please
it's
continue.
no, I was just gonna say it's really fun and it's like really hard to sell people because that's literally like it's just poker, but then you get like random statuses and shit that adjust your hand, and sometimes it's not even beneficial to play a poker hand. Sometimes it's beneficial to do a pair over a fucking full house or whatever. Yeah, it's just super fun. I've been playing it a lot. I played it a lot on the plane. I played it a lot at John's. I've been playing a lot of 14. I caught up on the story about 2-3 weeks ago. And I've just been leveling up my crafters. I've been leveling up different jobs. Just
Great, you
it's
got your
been-
relic weapon.
I did. I finally got a relic weapon. And I think it's the easiest one to get.
It is.
So that was why I was able to get said relic weapon. Because it's not a lot of grinding.
It's just like irregular tombstones.
Yeah. So
Or not irregular. You know what I mean?
yeah, I did that. I caught up on the Manderville quest, which was actually really fun. I did not enjoy the Heavensward one, so going into like I literally just finished the Stormblood Manderville quest when I started the Endwalker one, so sometime in the last few months. But yeah, the Endwalker Manderville quest was really fun, so I did that. And
Britt,
then
who would you rather? Can I ask a question, Britt?
what?
Who would you rather smash, Hildebrand or Godbert?
Godbert. Fucking
Okay, that's what I
hands
thought.
down. Are you kidding
That's what I
me?
thought.
Godbert
That's
every
what I thought.
time. Every choice. And I've also been playing Rebirth. I just completed the grasslands. I'm not that very far, and when I say completed, I did everything, all of Chadley's bullshit in that area. And one thing that I did want to talk about when I was talking about 7, other than the amazingness that is Queen's Blood, I wanted to talk about the combat
good.
system and how it's an action game that genuinely feels like an RPG, just because you have to wait for your ATB bars. And it's fucking it's wild. Because I have a difficult time in that game. And it's funny to like, because Zach and I are playing through it at the same time, and it's funny to see where he gets stuck and where I don't have any issues, or where I get stuck and he doesn't have any issues. And your party make up. But yeah, I've been having a lot of fun with it. I didn't expect it. I was dreading the release of another mainstream Final Fantasy game, but it's been very pleasant. It's been very fun. The side quests are fun, and it's not too like there's a lot of stuff you have to do in the first area, but it doesn't seem to drag out like it does in other games.
Right.
But yeah, I've just been having fun with that. My party is Cloud and Tifa, of course, because she's best girl, and Red 13. And I
Red
fucking
13
love.
is way better than I thought he'd be.
He
Red
is
13 is a
so
fucking
good.
joy to play as.
He really is. He's so fun. Like anytime I'm struggling on a fight, I bust that baby out, and he wrecks. It's insane. I haven't touched Barrett almost at all, sadly, but just because I haven't had to. And yeah, it's just been a little treat. I'm really enjoying it, and I didn't expect it.
All
And
right.
that's it.
So-
for me. Oh wait, Queen's Blood. Could we talk about Queen's Blood?
We
Let
sure
me talk
can.
to you
Oh,
about
yeah.
Queen's Blood.
Please.
So Queen's Blood is a card game in Rebirth And I didn't think I was going to like it because I'm like, what is this triple triad trying to be ass bitch? But it is very fun. It's so fun. And I can't express the feeling I get when I dominate NPCs who are just shitting on me for even approaching them, for even getting in their vicinity. They are just the biggest fucking assholes. And then I fucking whomp them. They were like, oh, well, maybe I'm not as good at the game. I'm like, yeah, that's fucking right. You suck. You suck. But yeah, it's just really hard to play. But basically, you put down cards, and based on the shape of what's on your card is going to hit the blocks on the I don't want to say deck. What is it?
Is
the
it
board?
It's some like triple triad Tetramaster shit. Right?
Pretty
like,
much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They gave FS7 a card game.
It's got some Gwent vibes.
Yeah. So yeah, it's very fun, and it's very fun to just my favorite tactic is to just get like one row where I get as many points as I can, and then just like cock block them on the other rows so they just can't really score many points. Like they can score points, sure. And they can have those rows, but if I like beef up that one row, it just it's so good. I love it. Didn't think I was gonna love it, but it's very good. Very, very good.
John, what you been playing, bud?
Well, I have been playing a lot of Madden. You guys know I'm a huge No, I've been playing Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. Fucking obviously, dude. So I am actually just about to hit the town of Corel. Which is chapter 7, I believe. I spent fucking 2.5 hours in Costa del Sol. Like, Costa del Sol takes up a lot more than you think, and it's fucking great. You can scoot around on a Segway. It's fucking fantastic. I love it. Everything about this game from top to bottom sings. I went in skeptical, and what I learned was this is literally Square firing on every single cylinder. This game is fucking amazing. I love everything about it. There's like 500 fucking musical tracks. I've never played a game with this many fucking tracks in it. Like it's absolutely wild. I've been playing as Yuffie. Yuffie is a joy to play as. So is Red 13. Like the whole fucking game is just, they take things like there's all these little callbacks to the original Final Fantasy VII, that are like, some of them are really subtle, and you'll go, oh yeah, okay, like this is a different variation on this. And then some of them, it's just a complete fucking nostalgia bomb. But there's so many little call outs to the original game that you'll see them all over the place. And there is so much of the original game's DNA in this, but it also feels like an entirely fucking new thing. Like an entirely new thing. And I could not be happier with the way this has turned out so far. Now, it could all fucking fall apart in the back end, right? Like everything could fucking just come crashing down, right? Based on reviews, I don't think that's going to be the case. But this is legit an all-timer Final Fantasy. Which, if you're a Final Fantasy fan, like it's a good fucking time to be alive right now. We had 16 last year. We had 7 Rebirth. Just came out. Like there's more shit happening. Like Visions of Mana is coming out this year. Like it's a good time to be a Square fan, and it's nice to see Square bringing their A game into shit. Yeah, I could not. I don't think I could possibly be happier with the way this has turned out so far. The areas are huge. Like Corel is fucking massive. It is enormous. You can't even, apparently the whole fucking map of Corel doesn't even open up until a few more chapters in. I spent think about this. The initial walk from Midgar to Calm in the original Final Fantasy VII is like, I don't know what, Derek, 20 seconds?
Maybe
20 seconds. Yeah. I spent 8 hours in the fucking grasslands outside of Calm. I spent 8 hours in Junon. Like, there's a whole backstory behind Junon now. Like, it is absolutely fucking wild. I love everything about this game, and I could not be happier with the way it has turned out. That is all I have been playing this week. I've been playing nothing but Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. That's all I've got on my fucking brain right now. That's it. So yeah.
All right.
That's what I got. Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
I'm gonna be very quick, because we're quite a
what
bit
the fuck
in.
is everybody making fun of me in chat? What is this shit?
You're
It's
just
what we do.
getting enrichment in your enclosure, John. That's what the podcast is enrichment time.
What did I do? I didn't do anything to deserve this.
So I've only really been playing 2 things over the past couple weeks because I haven't wanted to start anything big because Dragon's Dogma 2 is coming, and that's obviously going to be my entire personality for a while, and I'm not
Eric,
sure.
did you just see they just dropped the character creator today?
I did see that, but I don't know when we might be getting a code. So I'm like not wanting to commit to anything meaningful in case I get that email like tomorrow. You know what I mean? So one thing I've been playing is I did replay God Hand. For an appearance on a podcast called Tales from the Backlog, which will be coming out sometime in May. So I'll make sure I share that around when that episode is done. God Hand, for those who don't know, old PS2 Capcom Clover Studios brawler, extremely fucking weird. It's kind of like the most. It's a comedy game, right? Like it's definitely there to make you laugh almost more than anything, aside from the fact that it's also just a brutally difficult brawler. Yeah, God Hand's great. God Hand was Shinji Mikami, yes. It's funny. Now, one thing that like it's been a long time since I played it, so going back to God Hand, like it definitely some parts of the humor have not aged well, right? It's very funny, but like there's a lot of enemies. There's a lot of like little people as enemies. That use a very derogatory word that was common at the time for them.
Oh no!
Yeah, it's not great.
No.
You know, you've got like Mr. Gold and Mr. Silver, who are the 2 extremely tall, lanky gay dudes who you fight as like the first.
I'm sorry.
main
What are their
bosses.
names?
Mr. Gold and Mr. Silver, and they're
Those
dressed
sound like fucking James Bond henchmen.
in like flamboyant like dancers, like with feather boas. They're very like in a funny way.
May I introduce you to Mr. Gold?
They've
and
wrapped
Mr.
back
Silver.
around to being great in a RuPaul kind of way. There's the game isn't great. There's only 2 women characters in the game, and they are both fan service objects who are like mostly kind of unlikable and shitty people.
Of course they are.
Yeah, I mean it's so like many aspects of this game have definitely not aged well. I do think it's funny, but like go back to it with the expectation of like I'm going back to a game that is not problematic fave, let's call it. I mean it could be worse, but the other thing is I reinstalled the original Dark Souls as a like comfort game. I decided to do like a sorcery kind of build because I'm realizing in all these years
You're normally a pyro guy, right?
Well, I've done some pyromancy, but usually I just make a big meaty man smacker, right? I just go for like
That's Derek for you.
Yeah, buddy.
That's Derek for you.
I just pump everything into strength and dexterity and make a big ass quality build and smack people with heavy 2-handed swords, right? I'm the worst kind of Dark Souls player. So instead of playing a big meaty man smacker, I went for a little glass cannon mage. And look, here's the deal. People say that the sorcery builds are absolutely broken in the Dark Souls games and in like Elden Ring. I'm dog shit at it. It turns out it really is my job to just run in and beat people up and not like try to sit back and hit them with my pew pew stick. So I don't even know if I'm going to finish Dark Souls 1 that way. I'm definitely not enjoying playing a mage too much, but
I was muted, so I just want to say I didn't give you permission to use my likeliness when you said what you play as. And we're gonna have to fucking take that up behind off the camera. Go. Get out of here.
But yeah, that's all I've been playing, and I dearly hope I'm gonna get that code for Dragon's Dogma. A at all, but like a B any day now. So, yeah, that's it. So that is everybody. So we can go ahead and move on to our first topic. So how many of you all here, I know me and John have talked a lot about this. I don't know about the rest of you, have paid much attention to this lawsuit Nintendo brought against the developers of Yuzu, the Switch emulator.
I know of it.
Yeah. Okay.
So I know there was an emulation company or whatever that got shut down, and then I believe the other one was like collateral damage, more or less.
Kind of.
Understanding.
And like companies, maybe not the right word, right? But like this was a group of people. They did have a Patreon up, right? So they were, taking money to keep developing the emulator. That's legal, right? Like emulation is a legal thing. That has been settled for a long time.
As long as it's reverse engineered, right? And I think that was where some of this stuff came in here.
That ultimately was kind of the hinge of this whole lawsuit, right? That it did require some form of key file being dumped from your Switch that had not been made publicly available.
What kind of file?
I don't know enough about. I don't do Switch emulation. I do enjoy emulating, but I don't emulate anything current as a personal rule of thumb. So I don't really know a lot about that. But the long and the short of it is that rather than allow this to go to court, which might have been disastrous for the particular avenue in which Nintendo was suing the developers of Yuzu, and might have settled that aspect into some form of like case law, the developers of Yuzu paid a tremendous like multi-million-dollar fine and ceased development of Yuzu and also ceased development of Citra, which is a 3DS emulator. It's like I said, collateral damage, right? It's the same team. It's a different system. It is another Nintendo system. It technically was not infringing in the same way Yuzu was, but you shut one down, you shut both down. And I think there's been a lot of kerfuffle, I guess we shall say, about some of the details of why Yuzu in particular, like, were they promoting piracy? Were they, in their Discord or behind the scenes, etc.? I think more important to me is I wanted to talk about kind of the gray area that is emulation, because we don't talk about emulators much, right? Like as a
I don't think we talk about it at all. Like
we especially generally don't.
We try not to, simply because like once you get that status of like, okay, we're doing content creation with several major publishers, like it doesn't pay to talk about that shit publicly. You know what I mean?
It's really hard to untangle the subject of emulation from the subject of piracy.
It really fucking is.
But
dude.
like the reality of it is that also there's a ton of games that are not available. Hey guys, guess how I played God Hand? Right? Like my PS2 doesn't work anymore. I am one of the like.
So you went and bought a second PS2?
Sure. I did own God Hand at one point, which is hard because only like 60,000 copies of that game got sold worldwide.
Oh God, we're getting rated by Josh.
Hell yeah, brother. But like, how do you think in the year 2024 somebody is playing God Hand when only 60,000 copies of that game were ever shipped?
You pick up the Bible, Derek.
Yeah,
You pick up the fucking
you don't
Bible.
play God Hand.
You want to catch the real God Hand right here, motherfucker? Let's go.
Yeah. But like that's a game that's never been remastered, never been ported, was never been on a digital shop. It's only ever been on the PS2, and it's done. And there's a lot of games of the older era where that's the case. But it's settled that like emulation's legal, right? If I wanted to, I could have something like Yuzu, right? Or I think there's another Switch. I don't know because I don't. But I have every legal right to put that on my computer and say, okay, well, here is my Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and however the hell you would rip a Switch cartridge onto your computer, and I could emulate that just because
I'm enjoying the hand gestures to go along.
Very
Yeah,
hand
so
gestures.
it really adds something, Derek.
Yeah.
You're like a magician.
Yeah. Sure. Watch Rar make this asshole in chat disappear.
I just noticed we banned someone. I wasn't even paying attention.
Yeah, it's good. That's how little time they can take up.
Rar's like a fucking gunslinger with that shit.
But like, I guess I kind of like, if we're gonna bust the seal down, like, how many games do you think you love that would have been lost forever if not for emulation? Right? Mm-hmm. Like, that's, I mean, both to the listeners and to like y'all, because I've got a ton of games I truly love, and
well, it's hard, especially with the old stuff. Like, as an example, I bought maybe 10 years ago, I bought an unopened PlayStation 1, and I can't tell you how fucking expensive that was, because I had bad luck buying used ones from stores before. They would just always die. I was always getting them repaired. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go buy a new one. And I had it for a while, and I've read mixed things. I don't know if it's like disc rot or whatever, but I had new discs that were in flawless condition, and I had that thing, and I think the laser, the reader on it was dying. But like, that's the nature. Like, you know, these consoles aren't being made anymore. These discs or cartridges, whatever, aren't being printed anymore. They're physical materials. They will deteriorate over time. And like, it was just a fucking pain in the ass to get it working. I was like, I got my stack of PS1 games here that I own. I give up on that. I'm just going to go fucking play them on my computer where I don't have to deal with that.
Yeah, DuckStation works great.
Yeah,
right?
like this is why like, you guys know, like, I've been banging the fucking games preservation drum for years now on this shit, right? Like, you guys remember just a few months ago, I found my old Super Nintendo from 27 fucking years ago, or my mom did, and she gave it to me, and it doesn't it fired up once to let me know. It was like, John, thanks for all the adventures, and then it died, right? Like, but at one point, that came out a lot goofier than I intended. But like, at some point, all these fucking platforms are going to die. Like, PSP batteries. Do you guys know why PSPs are getting harder and harder to find? Because the batteries are fucking blowing up.
Exploding. Yep.
Yeah, and like, eventually,
fuck, I gotta check my PSP.
Dude, check the PSP, because you might have a.
I haven't checked it in a couple years, so like, I don't know.
It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your PSP battery is, Derek?
But like, I mean, this shit eventually is going to go away. At some point, it's going to become harder and harder and harder to find. Like, there are already games out there lost to time, right? Like, and so this is different. Like, guys, do you remember when we had that big conversation around Metroid Dread? When, I can't remember what website published an article. It's like, you can go pirate Metroid Dread right now, and it's like,
I don't think it was saying you can pirate Metroid Dread. It was saying Metroid Dread already runs on an emulator. And like,
no, it was
I would like to not name the outlet, because we obviously
no, I'm not naming
very
any outlet,
much do not want to get into like talking about media outlets.
No, I'm not naming an outlet. What I'm saying is, people hear emulation, a lot of people, and all they think is, oh, you're pirating games. But that's not what most people who emulate games do. Most people want to emulate games that you can't fucking play anymore. And it really fucking irks me. Guys, it fucking yucks my yum that there are publishers.
I hate that.
Dude, I know.
It sounds like you're yucking his yum, Finn.
Dude, I don't like my yums being yucked at all. I don't like my yums being yucked at all. And when a developer or a major publisher comes down on any emulator simply for making games that are 20 fucking years old that they're not making money on anymore, like, that absolutely yucks my fucking yum. It yucks it so hard, dude.
Derek, maybe you can clarify, just because like I want to circle back to like the Yuzu thing specifically.
Yeah.
So like, like John's saying, like, it's, I think from what I've caught, like, from the sidelines of the conversation, it's kind of like there's people who genuinely care about like the preservation of games and like emulating for the right reasons, and then but it becomes a little different when you start trying to make it a product of your own and make a profit of it or make money off of
Maybe,
it, right? Like,
I mean, I don't really know the moral gray area of that, right?
Okay.
Like,
I do think the Yuzu situation is a bit complicated, right?
so
like,
let's be clear about one thing, right? Is that like you can't really separate piracy from emulation, because even a lot of what we're saying right now about preservation of old games, we're talking about people having access to games that they never owned, right?
Yep.
Right.
But that they
absolutely.
cannot pay Nintendo or Activision.
no one
or
is losing
Capcom
money
for.
because you cannot purchase them
You
anymore.
literally cannot.
You know what?
And in
Well,
many
either
cases,
that or they're prohibitively fucking expensive. Finn.
well, again,
you own
buying
a
something from a
copy of-
collector is not the same. Like if I buy
but the fucking
$120
markup on
copy
these,
of Fire Emblem Path of Radiance, Nintendo
dude,
gets
fuck
$0.
$120. Finn, how much is your copy of Panzer Dragoon Saga worth? Go ahead.
Ooh, it's worth a whole heck of a lot.
It's
Hold on.
4 figures.
Yeah, but no one gets that money, I think, is Derek's point.
Right. It's
So it doesn't matter
traded
how
between
expensive-
collectors.
No,
Yeah.
absolutely agreed. All I'm saying is that people turn to emulation because playing a lot
They
of
don't
these
have it.
games
It's prohibitive.
legally,
Yeah.
It's
you can't fucking afford that.
The problem is scalpers and everyone have gotten to the market, and it's made things so prohibitively expensive
Terrible.
to even just dip your toes into.
Well, but-
Xenogears right now, a physical copy of Xenogears goes for $400.
But like, it cannot be denied, right, that when you get an emulator like Yuzu, it's being used to pirate games that are on sale right now on the shelf.
That's true, and that
Right? One of the things Nintendo brought up in court, right, was how many people were playing Tears of the Kingdom pirated before it even released, because a leaked ROM made its way out and people with emulators were able to emulate it.
It was like 1 million or something.
Something like
Something like
that. And I've read people have pointed out that technically it's the other emulator that ran Tears of the Kingdom and Yuzu didn't until after. I don't know. Point is, when you design an emulator for a system that's on the market, like, yeah, you're enabling piracy. Like, that's gonna happen. And I think that you can pretend that everything you're making is just for people to dump their own ROMs, but like, that's not what most of the user base is going to do.
Well,
And there's no way that they don't know that.
They absolutely
Right.
have to.
Yeah.
they have to know that.
But the flip
They
side
have to know
is,
that. Like,
if you don't get working on this shit now, there won't be
Yeah.
a Switch emulator. There won't be a 3DS emulator, any of these things 10 years down the road, right?
So-
like, the work kind of has to start somewhere.
so all right, so here's my question, right? Like, how do we fix this? Because like, look, after Yuzu got, you know, fucking shut down, 2 other emulators that do the exact same thing popped up in its place, right? Like, it's like Hydra, right? Like, cut off one head, 2 more will take its place. You're not ever going to kill emulation. You're not, and nor should you, because this is the best way to play tons of fucking games that people never normally would have the chance to play. That being said, no, I don't think it's right to emulate. I don't think it's right to pirate games that have like just released, right? Like, I because that negates the hard work of all the people who made these games. So where's the middle ground, right? Like, how do we, you know, how do devs, or how do publishers, not devs, but how do publishers live in a world where, you know, it's like, okay, we're not going to fucking, like, we're not going to give a shit about games that came out 20 years ago we can't make money off of anymore. As long as you don't like what's the actual fucking solution here? Because what I don't want to see is, like, for example, Nintendo, who's notorious for this shit, go after people just trying to make it possible for people to play old games.
So step one is not talking about it is not the solution, right? Because people like to act
Right, we
like,
need to talk
oh
about
no, people forwarded that Yuzu existed to Nintendo and then they came after them. Like, you are crazy if you don't think Nintendo knows about every emulator and every major fan project
Every single
well
one.
before you do. Kotaku writing an article about a fan game is not what gets that game shut down, right?
Yep.
So like, I want people to calm down there. I think the people who made Yuzu fucked up. They crossed into legally gray area by requiring this system key file or whatever it is off of people's Switches in a way that had not been deemed legal yet. Or maybe not. Right? But like, The other one didn't get shut down, so it's doing fine. And I think arguably the other one's more compatible. So if you're making an emulator, you gotta know what is the white area, right? And stay.
Well, there's
in
also
that.
there's also Jeff, please. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say, like, I'm curious because I was thinking about it, and then Renato in chat said something similar. Like, I'm not the money guy. I understand. Like, already we see a lot of games going digital only because of the complications associated with physical distribution. But I have to believe, if we can go, I understand video games are different than music, but like if I can go buy a CD, of an album that was made 60 years ago still, or a vinyl. And there's some way people have found to manage that production, which granted, like millions of people aren't buying vinyls of an album that old, but like obviously someone is making money off it. There has to be, I have to believe there's some kind of arrangement. Like, why can't Super Nintendo games still be printed on cartridges, right? Why can't there be limited run, why can't limited amounts, something, even if we don't go back as far as Super Nintendo, right? But like, why can't PlayStation 4 games still be printed? Why can't PlayStation 3 games still in small amounts with the right distributor for the right process in the right format? I have to believe there is a small audience because people are emulating these games, like decent numbers of people, and the resale markets are alive and healthy. I guess it's probably just because they're chasing the big money, which is what we see, and they know they can't make $50 million by doing this. But there has to be a way where they can, through partnerships or whatever, find a thing that benefits everyone. And I don't know, like, what if you could just buy these games for reasonable prices and play them?
My whole
novel
thing is
fucking
like,
concept.
yeah, my whole thing is like, why, what's going on in the industry that's making these companies like not want to make money, right? Because like if you offer these games, on a different service, or preserve them somehow, like,
that's the
you're
thing. Like,
making
even if you don't
money.
want to go to the trouble of printing and distributing copies, I get that. Like,
Yeah,
Nintendo, like through those old Mario games, the Mario All-Stars collection, you could just, even if it's a half-assed emulator, throw it on your digital shop. And why can't we do that?
Here's the
Right.
so here's the frustrating thing about that, Britt, is knowing that 2 years ago, and this has been confirmed, that Square had a plan to launch a digital storefront where you could purchase older SNES and PS1 era titles and play them on your console of choice. And they didn't go through with it. And it makes me want to slam my fucking nuts in a car door. Because
that's what I don't understand is what is like the holdup with trying
you don't want to
to
make money?
preserve.
Like,
well, and it's like, okay, so maybe at some point you're gonna fucking remaster the game or remake the game. Like, people are, if they enjoy it, they're gonna like partake in both.
Yeah.
Sorry, Britt, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was gonna say, well, as we're talking through it, one tricky thing I see is like a lot of licensed games. I don't even know what the solution is there. Like, I'm thinking about Activision. I don't know if they did the War for Cybertron series. Those were Transformers games.
Yeah, they did.
But like all the Activision Spider-Man games, Activision can't distribute those because I don't think they have the license anymore. But like whoever has the Spider-Man license now doesn't have the license for the Activision Spider-Man games. So like, I don't. There again, there has to be a solution, but like that shit also gets really messy, and like they can't just.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, in with like everything
Yeah.
becoming like digital only, there's so much shit that it's like,
Mhm.
it's to me, it's not worth it. I prefer to have physical copies. I know Finn's with me on this, but it's so dicey to have. To me, like digital copies, like I know you're all for it and everything, but it could just go away. They have the ability to be like, you bought this, but sorry, we're not gonna offer this to you anymore.
You bought it, but not anymore. You didn't actually buy it. You leased it temporarily, and now we've revoked it
at full price.
I want to touch on something Britt said because I think this is important, right? Like, the reason, here's an example. The reason that Final Fantasy 4, 5, and 6 were not on the Nintendo eShop or like on Switch Online, right, is because obviously they're working on the Pixel remasters, right? But do you think for one fucking minute, Square, that people would not have bought the Pixel remasters anyway? Like, I mean, Yes, they fucking would have. Like they absolutely fucking
Because
would've.
also-
I went
would've.
back to the PS3 and played Final Fantasy VI. Like,
Literally
why
anybody-
didn't they like put that shit forward?
Literally
It's
anybody
fucking
with any smartphone can so easily play like Final Fantasy 4, 5, or 6 right now,
Yeah.
right? There's
Uh-huh.
nothing stopping people from playing like good versions of this game for free, and yet people bought the pixel remasters because it turns out most people do just want to stick within the system. Most
They
people
do.
don't
And
want to pirate, and piracy.
People are also lazy like me. I understand I can emulate. I don't want to find the right emulator program. I don't want to download. I don't have to set up a controller configuration. I don't want to have to do that. I just want to turn on my PlayStation, press 2 buttons, and go to the store, buy a game, and play it there where I play everything else.
Jeff, Rorenado in chat just brought up an incredible fucking point. I'm so glad you did. The PS1 classics trapped on the PS3 is so sad. Yes, I bought those fucking games on I bought those PS1 classics. I can play them on my
That's
PS3.
what I said.
I can play Yeah. It's like what the fuck are we doing? Britt, if you buy Threads of Fate, which I know you love. Threads of Fate is one of those classic all-time just feel good, Square PS1 era games. If you bought Threads of Fate on PS3 and Vita, why the fuck can you not download it to your PS5? It makes zero.
It makes no sense.
I mean, we talked about a million people pirating Tears of the Kingdom before it released. That game went on to sell like 21 million copies, guys.
Yeah,
piracy clearly did not stop that game from selling stupid numbers.
I want to ask Britt a question.
Okay.
Britt, so I know that this is an issue that frustrates the shit out of you, right? Just because I know that you've purchased PS1 classics on these systems, and you can't fucking play them on a Sony network that you own the games on.
Right.
So how do we affect a change? Like, how do we like what is going to be that thing that wakes fucking Sony and Square and Capcom and all these other companies up to be like, hey, there's a fucking demand for this shit?
Well, I can
Like,
tell
not
you why
only that-
Sony didn't put them on PS5. Because they can't sell them anymore, so they can't make money off them. So why are they going to put the effort into,
Well, no, I know why, but Britt, I'm wondering, how do we fucking fix this? Like, what's the impetus for change here?
So I'm like, why don't you just pay those emulator people, right? Like, why don't you, if you don't want them to illegally distribute your game, hire them. Like, take them off the market. Like, make it so they can't. And like, it's like you said, you cut one head, another one pops up. But it's like, for such a large distributor of like classic games, it's like you're taking out one of the biggest people of game preservations, and then you'd be making money off of that. Like, there has to be, there's some kind of, it's like Rar said, there has to be some kind of financial incentive for them to do this, and that's what we're not getting, is the financials of it. Like, what's preventing them? Because we've seen them emulate, like Final Fantasy, the collection 1 through 6, like they can do it. To my knowledge, it's not hard. So what's not clicking? That's, I don't know. Just pay the people who are making it work, make it happen.
That's what I'm saying. Derek, go ahead.
I don't know where the line needs to be, but like the simplest option that this industry could take, and it's not going to, but the simplest option this industry could take is just treating software that is more than however the fuck many years old, right, and is not currently available in any way, to just be treated as abandonware, right? Abandonware used to be a concept in PC software, right? And it's really the healthiest thing would just be to be able to say, okay, dude, God Hand isn't on anything, and it hasn't been in how many, 15 plus years, then fuck it. Finn.
I gotta bounce.
Okay. I love you, buddy.
Love you, buddy.
I just want to end by saying that I would emulate all of you.
Oh,
I think that's a compliment.
Thankfully, you don't have to.
You got Finn, dude, you got the original right here, baby. Anytime you need it.
Yeah, that's why he doesn't want to deal with the original.
Fuck that. No, Finn, you got to physically.
If he's got to emulate any one of us,
I'm gonna emulate it.
Finn, at PAX, you got the physical copy all to yourself, buddy.
Why do you think Finn isn't rooming with us?
Yeah, that's my own game preservation method. Anyway, all right. Love
Later,
you guys.
bud.
I'm not rooming with you, but I'm still there in spirit.
Yeah, love you, bud.
Monetarily.
That's what matters. All right, peace. Okay, that's great podcast content.
Oh wait.
Like, I'm going to use an example. I'm going to use kind of like how I foresee this, right? Like this is going to sound a little strange at first, but bear with me. I desperately want the federal government to legalize marijuana. Desperately.
No, I mean, Derek, you've got me. I don't know where this is going, but I'm in.
No.
Derek's like, drugs? Hell yeah. Where's this going?
Yeah, dude, we gonna get potted up on some weed? Yeah, dude.
And Derek, Derek, you know goddamn well why I want the federal government to legalize marijuana.
Hey, Britt, can you get high in Boston?
Oh, I can.
Okay.
I don't know if
it's legal.
It'll be beneficial.
Massachusetts,
the war
it's legal.
on drugs. Well, hold on. Because this is gonna make sense. The war on drugs was a fucking disaster.
Right.
It was a disaster. It did far more harm than it did good, and in the end, it accomplished nothing. Right. So
it accomplished fucking up black communities for
the
rest of time.
Well, it accomplished nothing.
Thanks,
good,
Reagan.
I was gonna say thanks, Reagan.
It's always Reagan's fault.
I've been saying all you fucking look, federal government. The smart play is to just fucking federally legalize marijuana, tax it like you do alcohol, and sell it at ABC style stores. Boom, you've won. And everybody gets to smoke fucking weed, and you're making money. It's the same fucking thing that publishers can do the same fucking thing with emulators like Emu Paradise and fucking Cool ROMs, et cetera, right now. Bring these fucking people on board, have them do the fucking work for you, split the costs. You've just ended emulation. And at the same time, everybody is doing what they fucking want to do, which is give you money. Toriyama died?
What?
No.
Akira Toriyama's gone.
Holy fuck, dude. Wow. Dude,
Holy
nobody tells
shit.
CJ.
Oh. Fuck. All right.
Damn.
I'm pivoting completely.
Yeah. Fuck, what a legend.
Akira Toriyama suddenly what I'm saying isn't all that important. Akira Toriyama, I mean, I'm not a Dragon Ball fan, but I am a fucking Chrono Trigger and Dragon Quest fan. And that guy illustrated huge portions of my childhood. And just to see him gone, wow, what a fucking a bright fucking light has gone out.
You want?
Did they say like what?
I'm looking right now.
How old was he?
Oh, I mean, he's up there.
Is he up there in
I don't
years?
think he's that up
No,
there.
he's 68. Wow. Yeah, he's younger than I thought.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh, acute subdural hematoma. That sucks.
What the fuck is that? Is that?
Those are dogs,
Did he have like
Sean. You have 3 of them. You know what they are.
Oh, it's okay. All right. So, yep. So Moo had one of those in her ears. It's a buildup of blood, right?
Yeah.
Clot, basically, I think. Yeah.
Wow. Fuck.
That's wild. Like that's fucking awful.
Just what a fucking legend, right? I mean, like Dragon Quest.
Absolutely.
Like everyone, look.
Immediately, I thought of Dragon Quest.
Everyone and their grandma knows about Dragon Ball, right?
Trigger.
Toriyama is.
He did so much more.
Yeah, but Dragon Quest, dude, you can't mention Chrono Trigger in the same level of Dragon Quest. Is the fucked up thing, right? Like Dragon Quest is it. Like that's an entire genre of
Chrono Trigger,
games.
like.
Well, just Dragon Quest. Dragon Quest is the RPG. It's the original, like, other than like text-based adventure games over here in the West. Yeah. Like, we owe everything to Dragon Quest, which is so much Toriyama's
he had one of the
style
most
and
recognizable art styles in any medium. Not
absolutely. To this day.
like any medium.
We got that Sandland game coming out.
Sandland,
Holy
not
shit.
long, which is a great
Wow, dude.
underappreciated little manga.
Man, that sucks. I'm sorry, dude. 68 is too fucking young.
It is
It
too
is.
young.
That's
Real young for
That's too fucking young, man.
yeah.
Oh my god, that ruined my whole.
that's
Wow.
yeah, that's rough.
Wow.
Phew.
You have to like imagine too, like I know we're a video game podcast, but just from like a nerd standpoint, like, do you know how many people grew up with Dragon Ball?
Oh
And
fuck yeah.
like
Like,
I mean,
just
I've talked all the time about like how I don't watch anime, but I watch Dragon Ball. I got the entire collection on Blu-ray right beside me. Like, it's
Yeah.
just
and it's like that's defined so many people's childhoods into their adulthood.
Mhm.
Like it's such a big like talking point for anime fans now. It's like it's almost like a meme. Like dudes just like Dragon Ball, and like that's what they bond over.
yeah.
And it's
was-
just wild.
Dude, I'm
Um,
fucking.
I think who was it in chat just said? Oh, I think Mick in chat said like everyone knows that art style. Like you see
They
the
do,
design
he's
and
right.
you recognize
Yeah.
it. And I was playing Jackbox last weekend with some friends, and their neighbor came in and played with us, and she was younger. I don't even like guarantee you she didn't watch Dragon Ball or anything growing up. But like one of the prompts or something was like anime character, and we were like drawing, and her anime character was just like it was Toriyama because like obviously everyone
Goku,
just
the
in their
spiky hair.
yeah, but like the facial structure, right? Like the eye shape, the cheekbones and stuff like that. It was like so unequivocally Toriyama, and it's just like that image, like you said, it's just it's just ingrained in so many of our minds, even when you don't recognize it because it's so iconic.
So we have an official statement from the Dragon Quest. The Dragon Ball Twitter account. I'll read it. Dear friends and partners, we are deeply sad to inform you that manga creator Akira Toriyama passed away on March 1st. So this happened 6 days ago. They're just now announcing it. Passed away on March 1st due to acute subdural hematoma. He was in age of 68. It's our deep regret that he still had several works in the middle of creation with great enthusiasm. Also, he would have many more things to achieve. However, he has left many manga titles and works of art to this world. Thanks to the support of so many people around the world, he has been able to continue his creative activities for over 45 years. He was doing this. We hope that Akira Toriyama's unique world of creation continues to be loved by everyone for a long time to come. We inform you this sad news with gratefulness for your kindness during his lifetime. Funeral service was held with his family and very few relatives. Following his wishes for tranquility, we respectfully inform you that we would not accept flowers, condolences, gifts, visiting offerings, and others. Also, we ask you to refrain from conducting interviews with his family. Future plan for commemorating gathering is not decided. We will let you know when it's confirmed. We deeply thank you for your understanding and support as always.
Man, that's so sad.
Ugh.
You know, and it's like
Go ahead, Britt.
No, go ahead, because I was gonna like kind of shift a little bit. So go ahead.
I was just gonna say that I hope this doesn't sound trite, but this has guaranteed that after I'm done with 7, I'm replaying Chrono Trigger and Dragon Quest 11.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna finally replay 11 and finish it this time.
Like this, and I hope that doesn't sound cheesy or trite, but that really
no, there's nothing.
No,
not at all.
because this is what Toriyama did, right?
Mhm.
Like he was an artist.
You're indulging in his art. Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, it's wild too to think, like I mentioned, we've got that Sandland game coming up, and I think an anime adaptation, finally, unless I'm tripping. But like, I'm also sitting here thinking, like, guys, we have a Dragon Quest 3 remake that we still need to see, like, for real.
Yeah.
So that's been you're talking about a remake of one of the probably single most influential games of all time. It's the game that spawned like so many urban legends about laws in Japan around Dragon Quest because otherwise it would like shut down the economy from people not going to work.
Dude, it shows up in fucking Like a Dragon.
Yeah, it's everything.
Like an Infinite Wealth. Like it's like
and
like
we got
Dragon Quest
12 on the horizon
Dragon
too at
Quest
some
is
point.
literally ingrained into Japanese culture. Like if people doubt the impact of Toriyama's art. I've never seen a single fucking episode of Dragon Ball Z, not a single fucking one. And yet Akira Toriyama's art is up there right next to Yoshitaka Amano as having shaped my fucking childhood and my adolescence.
I played Blue Dragon because it was Akira Toriyama's designs, right?
Yep.
Like a perfectly mid RPG, if we're being honest, right? Like,
you're not wrong.
But like
You're not wrong.
One that I bought brand new and played based solely on Toriyama's
Toriyama and the Gooch. What the fuck?
Think of all the mid
Like,
Dragon Quest spin-offs that CJ's played in the last year too, because of the Toriyama art.
I mean,
what a podcast not to like where Finn left early and then CJ's not
here.
on.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
I've told y'all that I was more fond of Dragon Quest Monsters as a kid than I was of Pokemon.
Yeah.
You know, like, so those weird little guys he designs were just like, that's my shit.
I'm going to see if Finn will come back on the call because I don't think he knows this.
I don't know that.
But to John's point, like, I don't think there's anything trite about, like, it's kind of a thing where I don't want to say we take things for granted, but there's a feeling that sinks in when you realize, like, I'm never going to get more of this thing that I love, and I maybe didn't, appreciate it to the full extent that I could have. And now I want to really go back and kind of revel in that and soak it in and just kind of pay tribute. I think that's a totally natural response to anything like this.
And that's like kind of what I was going to piggyback off of is,
Finn's here. Hey, I think it's important that Finn say something about this. Hey, Finn.
Yeah.
Hey, man. So I don't know if you saw this, but Akira Toriyama's gone.
No.
Yeah. They just put out, I guess he passed a couple days ago, and kept it quiet for his family.
Well, Finn, I asked you to come back on because I know how important Dragon Ball is to you.
Yeah.
And if it's not, I'd like to give you a chance to say something, dude, because I know how much Toriyama's art has kind of shaped you throughout the years.
Well, beyond Dragon Ball, I mean, his work on Dragon Quest and Chrono Trigger, obviously, also huge. But yeah, I mean, Dragon Ball's been such a big part of my life, both professionally and not professionally, that it's that's going to be a big part of everything for the next couple days.
Yeah.
Going to be doing a lot of retrospectives.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, he had already, his successor is currently the one writing the current Super manga and stuff like that. But damn, dude, Dragon Ball, everything he's done.
Finn, he was only 68 too, man.
Yeah.
Britt, I want to hear where you were going too.
Yeah, please.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, it's wild to be in a state where things we love are just kind of going away, right? Like, every now and then you find a little like niche of something that you love, and it comforts you, and it's where you find friends, it's where you find a community, and it's like, I know, like, Rooster Teeth is gone. I know by the end of it, there was a lot of issues with the company itself as far as like harassment and that kind of thing. But, I personally met a lot of people through the Rooster Teeth community, and I know a lot of people did as well. So to just like, it's sad to see the things that you watched kind of like rise to its fame and success just all of a sudden just be, that's it, it's gone, and
and you mentioned like it bringing people together, right? Think of the presence of not just Dragon Ball, but like largely Dragon Ball across all mediums, like we kind of discussed, right? Like there's some popular, especially recently, there's been quite a resurgence in Dragon Ball games. Think of all the conventions and stuff like that, and it'll go on, and I'm sure the property or the franchise will continue. But that's a big loss for all those communities, right? All those fans, cosplayers and stuff. Like, there will be no new Toriyama created characters.
Nothing. Like Finn, before you came on, I was saying, like, look, like, I've never seen a single episode of Dragon Ball Z, and yet Toriyama managed to be probably tied with Amano as the most influential fucking artist of my entire childhood and adolescence. Like
Dragon
yeah.
Warrior.
I might honestly make the
honestly,
argument that Toriyama is potentially the most recognizable and influential
I think
artist
you're probably right, Derek.
of my lifetime
wouldn't
across
argue
any
with that.
medium.
I would agree with that. Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Right? There's no other artist of any medium who is so visually and immediately recognizable, so frequently copied, so
I was gonna say like maybe like Studio Ghibli, but like I don't think it has that mainstream reach.
It doesn't have that
No.
base.
Toriyama
Yeah.
does, right?
and I mean
not at all.
Toriyama defined the things he worked on defined multiple genres. They defined
I mean-
animation, they defined comics, they defined video games.
Well, Derek, the thing is, if you ask any Joe on the street, like, "Hey, what's anime? What's anime?"
It's fucking Dragon
They're gonna
Ball.
tell you fucking Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
And
They're
it's wild to think that like it's also a big part of what made anime mainstream over here.
Yeah.
Is just because it was one of the first animes that they.
I'll be honest with you, Britt. If not for Toriyama and Dragon Ball, I don't think anime would have fucking caught on here the way it did.
Yeah, I
Like,
mean,
that's how
I would
formative he
I would
was.
also attribute that to Sailor Moon because Sailor Moon was on.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that
Dragon Ball
was
and
the
Sailor
1-2
Moon were the
punch.
two. Yeah.
Dragon Ball and Sailor Moon were like the shows for the 90s kids.
Yep.
But I mean, yeah, it's impossible to overstate.
Legit, the only copies of any anime in my
Yeah.
house.
See.
See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what's
You
your
know
cat's
what?
name, Jeff?
Fuck it.
It's Luna.
Yeah. See.
Yeah.
Fuck it. I'm gonna start watching Dragon Ball Z this weekend.
Watch Kai.
This
I don't know where the fuck to start, but I'm gonna stream it on Discord.
Watch Kai.
well, and yeah, Kai is good. That's the one I've got. And Delaby in chat kind of mentioned. I was thinking it already. It kind of links back into the talk about like emulation and keeping those games alive. Like, man, wouldn't it fucking suck if 20 years from now you couldn't play any games with Toriyama's art in it? Right? Like,
Yeah.
wouldn't that
Yeah.
suck?
Yeah, he's not gonna.
Wouldn't that be a
that's it,
fucking
dude.
huge disservice to his work?
It's an interesting. You know what? It's an interesting question, right? And you know what it kind of reminds me of, Jeff, is and Finn, dude, I know you're not feeling well, man. I needed you to.
No, I appreciate it. I would have not
Yeah.
known until tomorrow had you not.
Well, I just know that for you especially, this would hit hard.
Yeah, I
and so
mean,
I wanted
I don't know how
to
many
give you a
people
chance to
know
kind of.
that
Yeah.
I worked on Dragon Ball stuff
Yeah.
for years professionally.
Mhm.
So in both games and anime capacities, you know, one of my last projects I ever worked on was helping get the Macy's Day Goku balloon done.
Yeah.
So it's
That's fucking awesome.
Mhm.
it's just one of those things. That's fucking crazy pants.
Yeah.
Like
it's-
I know life happens and we've all got an expiration date, but 68 is still too fucking young, man.
Yeah.
And that's terrible. Oh God. Sorry, I know we had topics to talk about, but this is
No,
a
I
big
think
enough
that's
loss to
worth-
where,
That's for sure.
Mhm.
like, you know, oh, Jeff's gone. Jeff was too depressed. He decided to leave. But like, you know, Jeff raised a good point before. There he is. Jeff, you're back. You kind of raised a good point, Jeff, and I wanted to bring it up. It's like, how do you honor his legacy going forward? And it kind of reminds me of the debate about Chadwick Boseman and Black Panther, right? Like there was a subset of people who were like, well, recast the role because it's what Chadwick would have wanted, and there was another, you know, group of people who were like, well, you know, don't recast the role because that was his role. Like he is T'Challa, and so I guess I'm wondering, like, with Toriyama gone, does somebody else just draw on that art style? Like I don't like it's like I know that you're
you
comparing
can't
apples to
own an
oranges
art
here,
style, but I think you've already got. If you look at like Toriyama was not drawing every cell of Dragon Ball or Dragon Ball Z or certainly not Dragon Ball Super.
Right.
He probably wasn't even doing any keyframes in Dragon Ball Super.
right. That's why I say it's like comparing
you know,
apples and oranges
I think-
and whatnot. You know,
I think the reality of it is that certain franchises that he has traditionally been involved with, right, stuff like Dragon Ball and Dragon Quest, may continue, and you're going to have artists ape his style because that's the way that those things have always looked, and to change them would be blasphemous.
I think so too.
I do also think you're going to see occasional people try to ape that style for original things. And I think that's going to, we're going to deal with it case by case, but I think that's going to feel like bad taste in a lot of cases.
CJ knows.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. It's
What's going to be in bad taste?
I think new like devs or like animators making stuff that looks like exactly like Toriyama's art style is going to feel in bad taste. Right? Not necessarily people working on franchises he's done, but like
okay, I was going to say
cuz like said Dragon Ball is going to continue. Dragon Quest is going to continue.
Right. And
somebody's going to make a Dr. Slump animation.
Continuing. Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know, man.
But I do have to head back out.
All right. Love you, buddy.
Love you guys. Thank you for
Get some
telling me.
rest.
Later,
Bye.
buddy.
But yeah, I just think you know, I think we're going to be talking about and feeling about this for a while because it is an inevitability that something new. I mean, fuck, again, Sandland is right on the horizon, multiple projects.
It's like April, right?
I think so.
There's got to be another super movie in some level of production because those movies have been doing really good.
Dragon Quest 3 and 12 are both on the way, and like Dragon Quest isn't going to end at 12.
Yeah.
And Dragon Ball is not going to end at one more super movie. So yeah, I don't know, man.
And they shouldn't. Like you said, they shouldn't, I don't think.
Yeah, because he's not. I mean, he's the creator of Dragon Ball, but like Dragon Quest was always a huge collaborative work. And Dragon Ball has become a huge collaborative work. You know, that has kind of expanded a little past him. So, yeah, man, it's just wild.
Man, I'll tell you what, like that blows. That fucking that just ruined my whole fucking weekend.
It's crazy, man.
Well, Derek, we that was a kind of a more depressing way to end the show than I had wanted.
Yeah, I wanted to slag on Warner Brothers being stupid and not understanding that Suicide Squad's a live game.
We can do that.
I got news for you. It won't be long before you have another opportunity to
Warner Brothers is going to give us more reasons to make fun of them for sure.
Derek, that's one of those topics that can wait a week and it'll be just as fresh.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
I would argue that it was very nice to hear everybody's nice opinions and just bring up their memories and how much he's affected everybody.
Of a legend.
You know, it's sad that he's gone, but it's also incredible to witness his legacy firsthand with people that you care about. And
that's true. No, Britt, that's a great point. And I also want to point out real quick before we wrap up here that Britt and I attended Distant Worlds.
Oh yeah, we did that
past weekend. And I can't remember when it was, but one of the hot boys of Final Fantasy popped up on the screen, and Britt just leans over to me and goes, "Smash."
It was Raubon. It was Raubon.
Okay, right. It was Raubon.
Specifically in prison when he's all grizzled up.
Oh,
yeah. It was good. I had almost like I was gonna do that the whole time, but I was like, nah, I don't want to be annoying. This is like his first experience.
Before we sign off, we can take an extra minute to do this. Can you describe to Derek and Jeff? Because Derek, here's the thing: they played Honeybee Inn, and they had the fucking video on the screen.
I wasn't fucking there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
they had like AMVs to all like their music, so it was really cool. Like they did the Final Fantasy VIII battle theme, and they had the you know, when they do their seed test.
Yeah.
And then like they played the music throughout the whole thing, and it was just really fucking cool.
Britt was watching Vicky's reactions to Honeybee Inn because she has no context for this shit. It was so good. And Britt, like how fun was
it like
that
introducing flaming hot Cheetos to a Victorian child? Like
it was really funny because like she had been like, I was really nervous that she was gonna just fucking hate the experience.
No, she loved it. Like
yeah, she loved it. But it was like funny to like that was what brought the most emotion like out of her. It was like it started and she immediately just kind of looked at John like, what the fuck? And then like throughout the whole time she would just go, like, what's happening? Like,
she's just watching.
They showed the massage scene. They were like, are they having a dance off, bro? And John was like, actually, they are.
Well, no, and they showed like Cloud's O face when he was on the table,
Right.
and with Madam and Vicky's like looking at me like this, Derek. She's like,
So this is why you like these games.
like, yeah, and I'm like, look, you might think he's coming, and you might be right. Okay,
Yeah.
like
You might be right. Like you're not far off from that.
But
yeah,
they, like,
it was really funny just to watch her. Like my favorite part was when like she got really excited when Cloud got into drag, and then she got her reaction to Don Corneo with just how he looked with everybody in the dress. She was like, "What the fuck is happening?"
Not good.
She was like, ugh. But no, like when Cloud got dressed up as drag, she was like, okay.
Yeah.
Like Seven doesn't get enough credit for like being what it is.
Yeah.
Derek, they had I'm not shitting you, the Washington Gamers chorus. And they were fucking great. And they did the lyrics to Honeybee Inn. And it was, dude, I'm telling, dude, no, it's a silly name, but dude, they were really fucking good. And when they played the Chocobo song, and every time they went like, it cut to a video of that Chocobo popping out of Saz's hair from 13. Every single time they went, like that shit popped up on the screen. Like it was fucking great. The experience, it was my first one. I fucking loved it.
I thought a gamer's chorus was anytime I logged into an Xbox Live lobby and got called the F slur by a dozen 13-year-olds.
That's the gamer experience, not the chorus.
Yeah.
But also, Derek, Dottie, or not Dottie, but Tara fell in love with Brit.
Yeah, I saw, and I'm displeased about the fact that Tara fucking yelled at all of us. And then, no, you know what? I'm not displeased.
She still yelled, but it was she did very well this time around.
Brit, Tara came downstairs looking for you.
Oh, really?
She ran downstairs and she was sniffing around Jaden's room.
Why not me?
Your time will come.
So
let's go ahead and wrap it up.
Final notes. So we have the Discord. Yay! Come join the Discord. Good place, safe place, heavily moderated place to talk about all manner of nerdery with folks of various backgrounds. Remember that while none of our content is ever gated behind a money wall, you can support us either on Patreon or by subbing here on Twitch. Just a couple bucks. It helps us to do things like pay to go to PAX, for example, because travel's not cheap, hotel's not cheap, and money helps.
In this economy?
Right. And then like to get together to do the charity get together towards the end of the year, stuff like that.
Not only that, like I'll just mention, we just had to re-up our hosting solution for our basically our domain and emails that we use for all of our PR communications and stuff, which is literally how we cover games for the podcast. And our Patreon funds for the last year covered our entire renewal, and that's thanks to like everyone who pitches in there.
Yeah,
because we're definitely not the 1%. So
we will be, like I said, many of us will be at PAX East. So if you happen upon us at PAX East, please come say hi. We might be very busy and running to an appointment, but we'll let you know. And beyond that, you should still ask to say hi. It's fine.
I always please
do not be afraid of us. John looks so intimidating, but
I look intimidating.
So fucking mad and angry all the time.
Yeah.
But I'm actually a huge sweetheart.
We probably do not have that panel that I've been working on. It does seem like we didn't make it
I'm
off
not
the wait
giving
list.
up hope until we get the rejection email, Derek.
But I did go ahead and tabulate all the results. So if we don't get to do this panel, we'll just get Ben on here for something, and we'll talk about the best boys. I will say this: I famously don't really know Final Fantasy 14, so I had to learn about Final Fantasy 14 boys.
Oh, Britt, I told him all about Godbird.
Based on who was heavily written in and who was heavily requested. A lot.
I wrote on Emmett Silk.
I'm gonna warn you. The most popular FF14 boy that you all suggested by a mile was some motherfucker named Grahatia.
Yeah,
I googled him.
Boys,
I googled him, and I immediately went, "All of you need Jesus."
hate it.
Smash.
Fucking hate it.
Oh, but
that shit.
I know I know specifically there's somebody in the chat who's going through 14 right now. So like,
Yeah.
don't say anything else.
No,
but
Okay.
I don't know anything about him. I just know why you all picked
He's a
him. And
cat
again,
boy twink.
Smash. So, that's
All right, Derek.
that's what we got. Folks, thank you all. We will be back next week for our final show before PAX. Other than that,
coming down to it.
yeah, other than that, be kind to each other. Kindness costs nothing.
Tinian was robbed.
Take
Thank
care.
you,
Kindness.
Arnado.
Highly rated. It's okay.
Cost
Justinian was up there.
Nothing. Rest in peace, Toriyama.